If you're starting a website for your business, you've probably heard the term web hosting. Here's what it actually means. Your website and every website on the internet is just a collection of files, so images, text, and code. Those files need to live somewhere on the internet in order for them to be accessible 24/7. Web hosting is simply just renting space on a computer called a server that stays online and connected to the internet all the time. You can think of it kind of like renting a storefront. So you could open up a business and just run it out of your garage, but that would be inconvenient and there wouldn't be staff there all the time. Whereas the other option is you rent a commercial space that is open 24/7. So same concept with hosting. You could technically run your website from your home laptop, but it would have to stay online and connected to the internet 24/7. When someone types in your web address or your domain name into their browser, they're asking that server to send them your website files or serve them the files, hence the name server. The server then delivers those files, and then just like that, your website appears on their screen. And this all happens, instantaneously. The bottom line is web hosting is the foundation of all websites, and you must have some web hosting solution. Otherwise, your website will not be accessible to anyone except you. Now, there are 5 questions that I get asked all the time as someone who builds websites professionally, and I have been doing so for 5 years. I get the same questions about web hosting, so I'm going to run through those and give you some answers real quick. Question number 1 is, how much does web hosting cost? There's a big scale here. You can pay as little as like $3 a month, and you can go all the way up to the hundreds of dollars per month in web hosting. So it can be any price. My recommendation is that you don't spend anything less than about $15 per month on your hosting, because once you start getting down to the $10, $6, $3 price points of web hosting, you're making a sacrifice. You're either sacrificing the speed of the hosting, the support of the company that you're buying it from, or some other, they're making money off of you in some other way. They're trying to upsell you stuff, things like that. So $15 a month is a good baseline. Question number 2 is web hosting the same as my domain name? And the answer is no. So the domain you can think of as like being your street address. So it's like how people find your website. And then the web hosting is sort of like the physical building in which your business operates. So the address is separate from the actual building where your business takes place. So you can think about it like that. They are 2 separate subscriptions. Domain names are almost always yearly renewals, and they can be very cheap depending on the name that you want to get. So just keep that in mind. It does matter which specific domain name you want to buy. Question number 3 is, can I switch hosting providers later? If I purchase hosting now, can I change companies? And the answer is absolutely yes, if you are on a website platform that can be transferred. And what I mean by that is WordPress, for example, is an independent website software that can be taken to any website hosting company in the world. You can take your WordPress website and you can host it with company A, company B, company C. It doesn't matter. WordPress can be transferred like that. Whereas something like Squarespace or Wix, those sort of all-in-one subscriptions, if you purchase your website through Squarespace, it can only ever be hosted on Squarespace servers because they bundle everything into one monthly price. So your website itself, the web hosting, the domain name, if you go through Squarespace, it's all tied together in one subscription. Whereas if you go with WordPress, you can kind of separate things, and if you're unhappy with the hosting or you want to look for cheaper hosting, you can do that with WordPress. Question number 4 is, what happens if my hosting goes down? The answer is your website is completely offline and inaccessible to anyone. So if your hosting goes down, you're in trouble because your website essentially doesn't exist anymore until the website hosting service is restored. That's why one of the most important things to consider when you're looking for a web hosting company is the reliability of that company. Question number 5 is, do I need any special type of hosting for my particular website software? So there's WordPress, there's Shopify, there's WooCommerce, all different kinds of website builders out there. And the answer to this question is kind of like what I was saying earlier. Certain website building platforms bundle everything together, and if you choose to build your website with them, you are locked in to their ecosystem. You cannot take your website and transfer it to another hosting provider. Okay, so those are the top 5 questions, and now for this last section, I want to give you some web hosting companies to avoid like the plague. So these are the worst of the worst, the absolute nightmare, like pull your hair out type experiences whenever I have a client who comes to me and they say, oh yeah, my website is on, so-and-so company. These are the companies that I'm just like, oh, like, please, I don't want to deal with more of this. So I'm doing you a favor here. Do not buy web hosting from the following companies. Number 1 is Bluehost. You need to avoid this company at all costs. They are just awful for performance. They add sometimes a full second or 2 seconds to your website loading speed because of whatever they have going on in their backend. And they really aggressively nickel and dime you, try and upsell you stuff all the time. It's a terrible experience. So avoid Bluehost. GoDaddy, another one, same story here. Their performance isn't that great. They try and upsell you and nickel and dime you and just try and sell you stuff that you don't need all the time. And it's just a nightmare to deal with this company. Number 3 is HostGator. Avoid HostGator at all costs. Do not buy web hosting from them. Same kind of situation as the other 2 companies I just mentioned. So just avoid HostGator, Bluehost, and GoDaddy. Instead, I would recommend that you look into the following companies if you're looking for a decent web hosting experience. Now, I want to say I'm not affiliated with these companies. I haven't been paid by them or anything like that. These are just the companies that I've seen recommended by people that I trust in the community. And one of them is the web hosting company that I've used for years and I used for all of my client websites, and I've never had an issue with them. So the first company, the one that I use, is called Host. They have very straightforward pricing, and they have plans that can accommodate any situation that you're in. If you just have a very basic website, they have some cheaper options. And if you are someone like me, you're an agency, you resell web hosting to your clients, they have really great dedicated server solutions. Another great quality about Host and all of the companies that I'm going to recommend is that they have very good customer support. So anytime I've ever had an issue with my server or one of my clients or an account problem, all I do is just email their support team, and they usually get back to me within that same day, and they're very proactive and very good at resolving issues that I have. The next web hosting company I'd recommend is called SiteGround. They are another great, highly recommended web hosting company, and for all the same reasons. They have a wide variety of plans that can be applied to many situations, and they are very good at customer support and customer service. And the last company is called KnownHost, very similar to the previous 2 companies that I just mentioned. So yeah, check out Host, SiteGround, or KnownHost if you're in the market for web hosting. Now, one more tip for you at the very end of this video is to start with monthly billing. So a lot of these companies, regardless of if they're a recommended company or a bad company, they will try and get you on long-term contracts. So 1 year, 2 year, even 3 years. And personally, I would recommend that you just start with monthly billing, because even though you're going to be spending more per month, it gives you an opportunity to sort of test drive that company, to see if you like it, see if your website performs well. And if you are unhappy with the company, then you can easily just say, hey, I'm going to cancel my service and I'm going to go get a different hosting company to try them out, right? But if you sign up for a 3-year contract, it becomes a little bit more annoying to switch. And sometimes they might let you out of it, but I would personally just go monthly until you find that you are happy with the company. And then at that point, you can just say, hey, I want to upgrade to a 3-year billing cycle. Can we do that? And I'm sure the company would happily do that for you. Okay, so that is web hosting explained. I hope this video was helpful. If you know anyone who might find this useful, please send it to them. And yeah, I hope you have a great day.